Is poor sleep screwing your diet? In this episode of the podcast, I'll do a little bit of a dive into the topic of how the quality and quantity of your sleep can directly impact the quality and quantity of what you eat during the day. Stick around.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, party people? It's Coach G. I'm one of the coaches here at CrossFit Edwardsville, and in today's podcast, we're going to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, specifically how sleep impacts you during the day. And sleep is one of those things that impacts every area of our lives. In fact, when I was in grad school, as I was getting my doctorate, a big part of the research, the studies, the work that I did was on the impact of sleep on motor learning. And I'm very passionate about this topic because this topic is one of those things that make a huge difference for you. I'm gonna say that again. Getting sleep right can make a massive difference for you in your life in terms of so many things, just to scratch the surface of it. Like quality sleep or sleep deprivation has very serious consequences on every area of your life. And so many of us don't even recognize just how far-reaching the impact is. It literally makes a difference in every area of your life, how you look, how you feel, how you perform, and everything. It's very well established scientifically that sleep deprivation can affect your memory, creating memory issues. It can create trouble with thinking and concentration, mood changes and not for the better, increase accidents, like being drowsy during the day can increase your risk for car accidents and injuries from other causes. It's fascinating, the data when daylight savings time kicks in and people lose an hour of sleep, that following day is the day with the highest rate of auto accidents in the entire calendar. It's amazing. Other sleep deprivation related problems, weakened immunity, high blood pressure, risk for diabetes, weight gain, low sex drive, risk of heart disease, poor balance, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. But in this podcast today, I want to specifically speak to the impact of sleep on your eating pattern, because I think that the connection between these two is not super obvious for a lot of people, but it's super impactful for everybody, including you. And I want to speak about this a little bit in scientific terms. It is established that epidemiological studies have shown that insufficient sleep is independently associated with a higher risk of obesity because sleep-restricted adults show a clinically meaningful increase in hunger and caloric intake when they're allowed access to free food. And this preference for late evening or nighttime food intake, increased snacking has also been observed with a food preference for higher carbohydrate and higher fat foods. I want to say that again. When you're sleep deprived, there is a clinically established by studies, by data, impact on your caloric intake, your hunger, both of those go up, and you end up having a bit more of a food preference for things like more carbohydrates, which also directly impacts all of your hormone levels. See, changes in hormone levels that either signal hunger or satiety are directly clinically observed in these sleep restriction studies. Leptin comes to mind. Leptin is a hormone associated with satisfaction. When food enters the stomach, leptin is released from your fat cells, travels to the brain where it signals the body to stop eating because you get that sensation, that feeling of fullness. People with obesity may often have very high levels of leptin, by the way, because the more body fat one has, the more leptin is produced. But this condition called leptin resistance can occur where the brain does not receive the usual signal from leptin to stop eating. So in response, more and more leptin is released, and then lower levels of leptin as well as higher leptin levels, suggesting leptin resistance, have been observed in You probably guessed this part, sleep deprived adults. So it makes a big difference. Additionally, ghrelin, Ghrelin, ghrelin is the hunger hormone, typically has the opposing action of leptin, sort of like how, it has the opposite action of leptin. It's released in the gut, sends hunger signals to the brain that you're not eating enough. It tells you, hey, you're still hungry, eat more. About 3 hours after eating a meal, your ghrelin levels drop. Clinical studies have found that sleep restriction leads to elevated ghrelin levels, signaling to you, hey, you got to eat more. You're still hungry, even if maybe you're not. Maybe you're sleep deprived. So in all of this, this is my call, my cry, my rallying cry in this is for you guys to put that little bit of extra emphasis on your sleep quality and quantity tonight, because it makes a difference in how you eat. Maybe that's watching a little less Netflix, ending the Game of Thrones marathon 30 minutes earlier so you can go to bed a little earlier, get that little bit of extra sleep. Or maybe it's improving some things about your sleep environment, where maybe you go and you fully black out the room, black out curtains, all cell phones off, all lights off, because your quality and quantity of sleep is also impacted by the presence of light. The more you can minimize or eliminate the presence of light in your room where you sleep, the better sleep you'll get. Can you use some white noise maker? Could you use some sort of rain sounds app to create a white noise that raises your threshold of disturbance? I've discussed this on the podcast before. Your threshold of disturbance is the amount of noise that it takes to disturb your sleep. If you have a white noise maker around, you can use that to raise your threshold of disturbance, meaning it takes more and more noise in order to interrupt your sleep, i.e., it makes you more resistant to sleep interruption. There are so many things. Having consistent bedtimes and wake times, avoiding caffeine in the latter half of the day so that you're not negatively impacted in terms of your sleep there, staying off of screens or blue light blocker glasses so that you're not, if you don't pound your face with screens, particularly your cell phone, in the time leading up to bedtime, you'll sleep better at night. Doing a great workout during the day is one of the things that lets you sleep better at night. Making good food choices during the day, also something that helps you sleep better at night, if only because you have an increased sense of worth and positivity and congruence with yourself. You're not carrying guilt. You're not in bed at night feeling guilty about making bad decisions. Living a life of integrity, all of these things are great ideas to help you get better sleep tonight, and by consequence, eat better tomorrow. This is my call to you guys to do something today to improve the quality or the quantity of your sleep. And I hope that you do. It's Coach G here at CFE. Thank you for the gift of your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're always honored that you join us. If you want to learn more about CrossFit Edwardsville, find us on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, of course, and all of the all of the podcast platforms. Find us on Google. Read our Google reviews. And when you're done, you can go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com and book a no sweat conversation to talk to us. And we hope that you do. We'll talk to you. There's no sales pitch. There's no foreign call center. It'd be a real coach talking to you about what you want to get out of this. And we look forward to having that conversation with you. It's free, helps you identify what are your next steps in terms of health, fitness, CrossFit. What's it look like for you? So reach out to us, and we hope to see you guys either in that conversation or in the next episode of the podcast. Peace.